Have you ever felt like you're surrounded by people who just don't get you? Or worse, people who seem to operate on a completely different wavelength? What if I told you there's a way to understand everyone around you, even the ones who drive you crazy, and communicate with them effectively? That's exactly what Thomas Erikson's Surrounded by Idiots promises to help you do. But here's the twist. Maybe you're the one who's been the idiot all along. Intrigued? Let's dive in. Introduction. Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson is a groundbreaking book that explores human behavior and communication through the lens of the decisive personality model. Erikson, a behavioral expert, breaks down personality types into 4 colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. Each color represents a distinct set of traits, strengths, and weaknesses. The book isn't just about labeling people. It's about understanding how to adapt your communication style to connect with anyone, whether it's your boss, your partner, or your overly chatty neighbor. Why is this worth summarizing? Because we all deal with people every single day, and miscommunication is one of the biggest sources of frustration in our lives. This book gives you the tools to turn those frustrating interactions into productive ones. So let's break it down. 1. The 4-color personality types. Erikson's core framework divides people into 4 personality types, each represented by a color. Red, dominant reds are assertive, goal-oriented, and decisive. They're the leaders who get things done, but can come across as bossy or impatient. Think of your no-nonsense boss who always cuts to the chase. Yellow. Influential yellows are social, enthusiastic, and creative. They're the life of the party, but can be disorganized and overly optimistic. Picture your friend who's always planning spontaneous trips, but forgets to book the hotel. Green. Stable greens are calm, reliable, and supportive. They're great listeners, but can struggle with change and decision-making. Imagine your coworker who's always there to help, but avoids conflict at all costs. Blue. Analytical blues are detail-oriented, logical, and perfectionists. They're the planners who thrive on data, but can overanalyze and seem cold. Think of your colleague who triple-checks every email before hitting send. The key takeaway? No color is better or worse. They're just different. Understanding these types helps you see why people act the way they do and how to adapt your approach to connect with them. 2. Communication is a two-way street. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming everyone communicates the same way we do. For example, a red might see a green's calm demeanor as laziness or lack of ambition. A blue might find a yellow's spontaneity chaotic and irresponsible. A yellow might think a blue's attention to detail is nitpicking. Erikson emphasizes that effective communication starts with self-awareness. If you're a red, you might need to tone down your intensity when talking to a green. If you're a blue, you might need to loosen up a bit when dealing with a yellow. The goal isn't to change who you are, but to flex your style to meet others where they are. 3. Strengths and weaknesses of each type. Each color has its superpowers and its kryptonite. Reds are great at taking charge, but can bulldoze over others' feelings. Yellows bring energy and creativity, but can struggle with follow-through. Greens are dependable and empathetic, but can be too passive. Blues are thorough and precise, but can get stuck in analysis paralysis. The lesson here? Don't just focus on someone's weaknesses, leverage their strengths. For example, if you're working on a team project, let the red take the lead, the yellow brainstorm ideas, the green mediate conflicts, and the blue handle the details. It's all about playing to everyone's strengths. 4. Adapting to different personalities. Erikson provides practical tips for interacting with each type. With reds, be direct, concise, and results-oriented. Don't waste their time with small talk. With yellows, show enthusiasm, be open to their ideas, and give them room to express themselves. With greens, be patient, supportive, and avoid pushing them too hard. With blues, be prepared, provide data, and give them time to process information. The magic happens when you learn to speak their language. For instance, if you're pitching an idea to a blue, come armed with facts and figures. If you're trying to motivate a yellow, focus on the big picture and the fun aspects of the project. 5. Self-reflection and growth. While the book is about understanding others, Erikson also encourages readers to reflect on their own behavior. Are you a red who needs to slow down and listen more? A yellow who needs to focus on the details? A green who needs to speak up? Or a blue who needs to embrace flexibility? The ultimate goal is to become a more balanced communicator. By understanding your own tendencies and learning to adapt to others, you can build stronger relationships and avoid unnecessary conflicts. 6. Real-life applications. Erikson doesn't just stop at theory. He provides real-life scenarios to show how the color system works in practice. For example, in a workplace, imagine you're leading a team with a mix of reds, yellows, greens, and blues. A red might push for quick decisions, while a blue wants to analyze every detail. A yellow might suggest creative but impractical ideas, and a green might hesitate to voice their opinion. By understanding each person's color, you can facilitate better collaboration and ensure everyone feels heard. In relationships, let's say you're a blue married to a yellow. You might get frustrated by their lack of planning, while they might feel stifled by your need for structure. Recognizing these differences can help you find a middle ground. Maybe you handle the logistics while they bring the fun and spontaneity. In social settings, ever been stuck in a conversation with someone who just wouldn't stop talking? They're probably a yellow. Knowing this, you can steer the conversation in a way that keeps them engaged without letting it drag on forever. These examples show how the color system isn't just a theoretical concept. It's a practical tool you can use in everyday life. 7. The importance of flexibility. One of the key messages of the book is that no one is purely one color. Most of us are a mix of 2 or even 3 colors with one dominant trait. This means we all have the capacity to adapt and grow. For example, if you're a red who's naturally task-oriented, you can learn to be more empathetic and patient, traits of green. If you're a blue who tends to overanalyze, you can practice being more decisive and action-oriented, traits of a red. The more flexible you are, the better you'll be at navigating different personalities and situations. Erikson calls this behavioral flexibility, and it's the secret sauce to effective communication. 8. Common pitfalls to avoid. Erikson also highlights some common mistakes people make when dealing with different personality types. Assuming everyone thinks like you. Just because you're detail-oriented doesn't mean everyone else is. Don't expect others to approach things the same way you do. Labeling people. While the color system is a helpful tool, it's not about putting people in boxes. People are complex, and their behavior can vary depending on the situation. Ignoring your own blind spots. It's easy to focus on other people's flaws, but self-awareness is just as important. Take a hard look at your own behavior and how it might be contributing to conflicts. By avoiding these pitfalls, you can use the color system in a way that's constructive rather than reductive. 9. The science behind the colors. Erikson's model is based on the DISA, dominance, influence, steadiness, compliance, system, which has its roots in the work of psychologist William Marston. While the color system is a simplified version of more complex psychological theories, it's designed to be practical and easy to apply. The book also touches on the neuroscience behind behavior, explaining how our brains are wired differently based on our personality traits. For example, reds tend to have higher levels of testosterone, which makes them more competitive and assertive, while greens have higher levels of oxytocin, which makes them more empathetic and nurturing. Understanding the science behind the colors can help you appreciate why people behave the way they do, and why it's not always easy for them to change. 10. Building better relationships. At its core, Surrounded by Idiots is about building better relationships. Whether it's with your colleagues, your family, or your friends, the book provides a roadmap for understanding and connecting with the people in your life. Erikson emphasizes that relationships are a two-way street. It's not just about understanding others. It's also about being understood. By learning to communicate more effectively, you can reduce conflicts, build trust, and create more meaningful connections. Bonus section, practical exercises. To help you apply what you've learned, here are a few exercises you could try. Identify your color. Take a moment to reflect on your own behavior. Which color do you identify with the most? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Observe others. Pay attention to the people around you. Can you identify their colors? How do their behaviors align with the traits of their color? Practice flexibility. The next time you're in a conversation, try adapting your communication style to match the other person's color. Notice how they respond. Reflect on conflicts. Think about a recent conflict you had. How might the color system explain what went wrong? What could you have done differently? By practicing these exercises, you'll start to see the world through the lens of the color system, and you'll be amazed at how much easier it becomes to connect with the people around you. Conclusion. At the end of the day, Surrounded by Idiots is more than just a book. It's a toolkit for better communication and stronger relationships. Whether you're red, yellow, green, or blue, there's something in this book for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Dive in, start learning, and watch your relationships transform. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Which color are you? How has understanding the color system helped you in your life? Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.